Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications.
Hope you're doing well today. It is May the 13th, and I hope you're having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good late night, whenever you're listening to this video. Of course, if you have a question, please feel free to ask me by posting your question as a comment, and I have a lot of questions to cover today. Or you can email me directly at searchforsigns@mail.com if that suits more your fancy. All right, let's get into it. I read a fortune teller saying that Trump is the last president of America. Do you agree with me that Trump is the last president of America before Maitreya comes? First of all, Maitreya's already come. He's already on TV. Of course, he's not being introduced or introducing himself as Maitreya or anything extraordinary. He's just being introduced as an ordinary person. But in time, I don't think in too long of order, more and more of us will start to recognize the extraordinary wisdom of Maitreya. And we'll start to put two and two together and go, I wonder, and then get a better listen. And then over time, eventually we'll all start to come to that conclusion for ourselves. And according to Benjamin Creme's master, the people will demand that all the networks allow him time to come and speak before the world. And Maitreya will come to the podium and will address the entire planet at one time and will not say a word. We will hear his message, his call to humanity, his call to service on that day of declaration where he will declare himself as Maitreya then. But we will hear it inwardly in our own head, in our own language. So if you're from America, you hear it in American. If you're in England, you'll hear it in English, of course. If you're French in French, Russian and Russian, so forth and so forth. So everyone will hear it in their mother tongue. And it'll be a day that will be the day of days, but it will be a day that will fulfill the biblical prophecy that all eyes will see him. And that's when we will know for sure that Maitreya is the one awaited by all the world's religions, because not only will be a global Pentecost, but there will be hundreds of thousands of miracle cures. People will feel the love and his energy, even physically. Maitreya says it will be as if he embraces all of humanity on that day. But it will be an extraordinary day, to say the least. Now, to answer the first part of the question, is Trump going to be the last president? I think that there are plans in place to try to make sure that he stays the last president. Whether he succeeds or not is a whole other thing, which gets me to another question that's coming up here in a second. But, there's talk about the delay of the presidential election here in November, so I'm sure they're doing whatever they can to keep him make him the ongoing president. But eventually, according to Benjamin Creme's master, the presidency as we know it in America will start to be seen as an antiquated ideal, really. And it will move more into a group of wise individuals that will govern and guide this nation out of the adrift, against the rocks that we're at today, and move it out into clearer and calmer waters for sure. But it will take a group, because the energies of Aquarius require group formation. That's why the changes in the world will be done by groups, not so much by individuals like it was in the past. So will he be the last president? I don't think so. I think there'll be other presidents before America decides to change, because I just don't see right now, over the next year or two or three, maybe 4 years, I guess, the United States coming to the conclusion that we need to be more progressive. I think more people, just slightly more people in this country, are more wanting things to stay the same, more conservative than the progressives. So it would take a giant leap of faith for this country to dismantle the presidency and bring in a group of wise members of humanity to help guide this country. So I think in time, it will in time, but not right away. All right, next question. Rob Stockman, thank you for answering my question. And for this video, you have spoken about the annoying coworker. Yes, I did. I'm going through this now, and thank you for your thoughts on it. A little strange how it really does apply to me. It applies to a lot of people, Rob. That's why I brought it up. I didn't feel like I was alone in being annoyed by a coworker, that is for sure. One of the things that Maitreya did say to me a long time ago is he said, peace always comes from within. So, and he also said to be at peace and remember to pray. So those are other options for you if the not noticing, or if you were starting to notice the good things that they do and not being critical and it's still not working, be at peace and remember to pray. That's the other options. That's the other solutions that Maitreya offers us. All right, so the question was, are the Sons of Light still around? Sons of Light, I'm not familiar with that term, Rob. If you could actually point me in the direction of what you're talking about, maybe I can answer that question better, okay? All right, next question. Hi, James Paluta. Hi, I was wondering your thoughts on Shiva, Zeus, Enki, and Jesus being sons of the great God or creator God. Please address the Holy Trinity as well in Hinduism as Christianity. Maybe you know of other trinities you can mention. Thanks. Well, it's a very interesting question, James. I'll have to do a video on the rays from an esoteric viewpoint because this does bring up that topic, the Holy Trinity. But the reason why the Holy Trinity is in Hinduism as well as Christianity is because all religions are linked. They all come from the same source. And when we as a religious folk finally realize that, we'll be more tolerant of other people's beliefs, that's for sure. But for now, let me answer this. The Trinities come from, the esoteric view of the Trinity is the rays, which is a energetic quality that's divided the universe up into 7 rays. Okay, the first one is will. The second one is love, wisdom. The third is active intelligence. The fourth is harmony through conflict. The fifth one is concrete science. The sixth one is devotion or abstract idealism. And 7 is ceremonial magic. And we can talk more about this in another video because it would take a full video for me to bring this up. But everything from our individual bodies, like our astral body, physical body, mental body, our souls are on one or other of these rays. And that's what makes the quality of the person different than another person. And the way that we manifest it and the way that we use that energy and so forth. But even atoms are found on those rays. Animals are found on different rays. Like the elephant is on the first ray of will or power. The dog, it's kind of easy to guess, would be on the love wisdom ray because they're just so loving all the time. Cats are on the third ray. And the way to describe a third ray type would, Shakespeare was trying to describe it when he said the spider in the web. And so cats are really, they kind of use you, right? They love you when they need you, and when they don't want you, they don't want you around. Which is very much of a third ray type. China's on the third ray, if you can kind of get it. But we'll talk more about that. That's going to open up a whole can of worms for me to do this. Okay, so the next question. Right now, it quote unquote seems we are on fast pace to getting a corona vaccine. Do you think the masters could be helping in this process? I don't know. Good question, Jerry. I don't really see that we're on a fast pace to getting a coronavirus vaccine. If it means by the end of the year, I don't think it's going to happen anytime sooner than that. Could they be planting the idea to help the process? Maybe. It just depends, really. And time will tell for sure. So I can't really answer that question either. All right, so the next question, and this one really piqued my interest. Someone has been whispering in Trump's ear because he just keeps winning. First I thought he said whining, but I guess it is winning. Every move is the right move. Keep up the good work, man. So, very interesting, Jackie. I will say that it depends who's whispering in Trump's ear. I would say probably the corporations are whispering in his ear. Does this person assuming that God or Jesus is whispering in Trump's ear and that's why he's making all the right moves? We can agree to disagree on that one. I'm not saying everything he does is wrong, but I do want to quote one of Benjamin Creme's master's articles that he wrote back in 2004. And it's coming from the article America Adrift. And he was talking about the then presidential administration of George W. Bush. And I think it does apply to what's going on today, though. A major problem in dealing with this administration is the powerful illusion under which it works, that it is God-inspired and so in divine grace, helping to restore the Christian world and message to its former power and glory. Thus has the USA taken a huge step backwards, isolating itself from the true concerns of much of the world, environmental pollution, and the demand of a planet suffering under the strain of impending disaster. The United States will find that the world will not stand still. With or without American cooperation, the nations will proceed as best they can to deal with the many ecological and social problems which beset us, and which so urgently must be addressed. America will find itself left behind and ignored, and only then will it be prepared to, quote unquote, lead the way. So, there you go. I do think that I was thinking about this the other day. The major difference between a Democratic politician and a Republican politician, they're both corrupt and they both lie. But I think the difference between the two is a Republican, you have to take out reason and accountability. But no, the major problem that I see, and if you step back and look at American politics, it's the fact that the Republican Party has hijacked the Christian faith and to add more political power to itself, meaning that they're using it to drum up the base. And I don't think Trump really believes that he's under any kind of divine hand or whatever, but I think he's using it for his own political ends, to be honest. But we all can come up on this in our own time and see it for ourselves in our own time. So anyway, Jackie, hopefully I didn't tick you off with answering that question. But good question, and I really appreciate you asking that question. The next one comes from a Tracy Smith. I would like to know why we are to question everything. My mom always said all things happen for a reason. God's plan. Don't question him. Trust in him. Have faith. Is this true? Wow. Good question, Tracy. And peace back to you. There's a peace, Gary, in the second comment. So peace back to you, Tracy. I don't think that questioning anything doesn't mean that you don't have faith. You know what I mean? I've always thought that the main thing is to look at what question are you asking, right? So, for instance, Maitreya's core teachings, or core teaching is have honesty of mind, sincerity of spirit, and detachment. Okay? So, what does he mean? He says everybody always thinks one thing, says something else, and does something entirely different. And we have to have all three of those things match up, okay? The second one, sincerity of spirit, he says, like when you're painting or you're creative or you're serving, or even if you're sitting on a beach or in a mountain, you're just kind of, experiencing oneness at the time and you're not worried about what's going to happen tomorrow or what happened last week, and you're just kind of in the moment. He said it's like if you're having a heart-to-heart conversation with a family member or a close friend and you just lose all track of time. That's sincerity of spirit. And then the most important thing is detachment. We all believe ourselves and to be what we think or how we feel. Like, I am mad. I am a politician. I am an architect. I'm a doctor. We all relate to life and what's around us based on those things, and then when you look at being a Christian or being a Muslim or whatever, Maitreya says those are isms, and isms are like drugs, and you lose the truth of reality when you are lost in isms. So the most important question that I would say back to you, Tracy, is not to not ask questions or to ask questions, but what is the question that you're asking? And the most important question to ask is who is whatever. So who is having this problem? Who is sad? Not why am I sad or why am I angry or why am I happy? Or, but who am I? And when you do that, you start to create a distance between, let's say you're going through a rough time, okay? I'm just using this as an example. I don't really understand the reason why you're asking that question. I mean, that's for you to come up with it on your own. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? So you would ask that question, who am I? Not or who is angry, or who is sad, or who's upset, not why am I upset? Why am I upset is more psychoanalysis, which just kind of leads you down a rabbit hole. But Maitreya would say, and the masters would say, it'd be better to ask who is having that, because it creates a distance between your emotions and you. We are not our emotions. We are not our mind. We're not even our body. We are the witness. We are the soul. We are the divine self, which is looking through all this. We're the witness what's going on. So when you start to look at your thoughts, just the fact that you can even see your thoughts, or just the fact that you can even have those feelings, really proves that you're not it, because you can't see something that you are. Do you know what I mean? I remember when I was a child, I used to ask my parents, who's seeing in through me? Is it just my brain? But who's actually, and I used to have this imagination like I was like a little person in my head looking through it, right? But who is looking at it? And when you start having those questions, it's almost a meditation. It really is a meditation, really. And it starts to distance you from your emotions and your thoughts to where you can be more at peace. And so when Maitreya says be at peace, or peace always comes from within, which is something that he told me a while ago, only way to do that is you have to start asking yourself, who is stressed? Who is anxious? Who is worried? Who is, this? And when you start thinking about that, you realize that you're not stressed at all. You know what I'm saying? It's something else. It's your emotions that are just kind of going off on a tangent or something like that, if that makes any sense. I hope this answers your question, Tracy. If it doesn't, please feel free to re-ask that question. But that's just kind of how I took what you asked. And thank you so much, guys, for asking those questions. And I look forward to more questions in the future. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.